Hello, everyone. My name is Saili, and I'm one of the expert teachers here at E2 Language. And welcome to another TOEFL class today. Can we just start by introducing ourselves? So can you type your name and where you're from in the chat box? So the chat box is the speech bubble with those 3 dots. Hi, Iris. Nice to have you back. How's your TOEFL prep going? I can see I think someone raised their hand. If you have a question, just type it in the chat box and I'll answer it for you now. And even while we are going through the class, if you have any questions, just type them in the chat box. And if they're relevant to what we're doing at the moment, I'll answer them. Otherwise, I'll get to them at the very end. Hi, Nomi. So we have Nomi from Indonesia. We have Iris from Mexico. Okay, that's great. I feel like everybody else is feeling a little shy, maybe. That's fine. We'll get to know each other in the course of this class. So let's get started. I'm just going to share my screen with you now. And let me know in the chat box if you can see my screen and if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay. Great. Can you see my screen now, the PowerPoint presentation? Just type yes in the chat box if you can. All right, thank you. So as I said, welcome to today's TOEFL class, and today's class is going to be all about reading. So in the TOEFL reading section, you'll have a variety of different tasks. So here's a little list of those tasks. And today we are going to look at these 3 tasks. We're going to look at the factual information questions, negative factual information questions, and the sentence simplification questions. So what are we exactly going to do? So for each question type, we'll first look at the appearance, which means we'll have a look at what it will look like on test day. Then we'll go through the method, which will help you answer these questions. We'll also introduce you to some tips. We'll give you some tips to help you answer these questions on exam day, and we'll get to practice some of these questions. So because it's a lengthy class, let's get started. First, let's look at the factual information question. So this is pretty standard. And I think this is one of the easier TOEFL reading questions. So hopefully we won't struggle with this one. So very similar to every other TOEFL reading question, you'll have the passage on the right, you'll have the question on the left, and the answer options, as always, 3 are incorrect and 1 is correct. So the question will either be phrased just as a question, like in this example, what are the bones found in the Lascaux caves believed to indicate? It can just be a question like that, or it can start with according to the paragraph, whatever, like according to paragraph 1, or it can be according to the paragraph, it can be according to the passage. So it'll usually start with according to one of these words. Okay, fairly straightforward, right? So now let's look at the method. So step 1, read the question and the answer options. Okay, let's do that, easy enough. What are the bones found in the Lascaux caves believed to indicate? Lascaux is probably the name of the caves. So we've got 4 answer options. The first one is wild animals sometimes lived in the cave chambers. Second one, artists painted pictures on both walls and bones. Artists ground them into a fine powder to make paint. Here, when they say them, ground them, I'm assuming they mean bones, right? Because that's in the question. And the last one, artists developed special techniques. That's it. We've done step 1. Step 2, identify keywords. So if you want to save time, you can do this while you're reading. And I feel like naturally, you'll have an idea of what the question is actually asking you to do when you read the question and the answer options. So let's quickly identify the keywords. So I'd say bones is pretty important here. What is it believed to indicate? So we've got indicate, wild animals, chambers, artists. So artists is everywhere in 3 answer options. So obviously artist is an important word here. Again, go through the question and the answer option, you'll see that some words are used, and this could also be an indication of those being keywords, but not necessarily. It doesn't have keywords don't have to be used over and over again. Keywords just have to give you a lot of meaning. So keywords will help you understand the meaning of the sentence. All right, now let's try to find these keywords in the passage. So what we're going to do is we're going to scan passage. Some might be thinking, what does scan mean? Scan, let me know in the chat box. What do you think scan means? When I say scan, thinking. Not exactly every word. You don't read passage and you just try to find those keywords. Okay, let's try doing that. So let's try to find the underlying keywords in the passage. I think I was cut out there. Can you still hear me and see me? Okay. Thank you. Can you see my screen? Just type yes in the chat box if you can see my screen. Oops. Okay, thank you. Move on. Where were we? Scanning, right. So when you scan a passage, you don't read every single word. You just quickly go through it. So let's try to do that with this passage right here. Don't read everything. Just scan to find the keywords that we underlined, okay? All right, let's try to find bones and indicate. Can you find bones and indicate? I'm going to give you a few seconds. I'm going to try and find it with you. Okay, I found the first bone. Okay, I found two bones. Indicate. Okay, I can't really find indicate. Let's see where these words are. So bones, yeah, these are the two that I found. So the word indicate is not exactly in the passage. Like I said, some of these words just help you understand the meaning. So even though it's not in the passage, it helps you understand the meaning of the question. So here, when the question asks you, what are the bones found in the Lascaux caves believed to indicate? It means what are they believed to point towards, or what do they stand for? What can we conclude from them being found in that cave? Keywords, animals and chambers. Have chambers up there. How about artists? Artists, pictures, and bones. Lots of S's there. Everything plural. There's artists, bones, pictures. Can't really find it. You won't have a lot of time. So if you can't find certain words, don't spend too much time on them. Just keep going. We found that. And the other one is powder. There it is, fine powder. Again, we have artists, that's definitely a keyword, and special techniques. So special techniques is not really in there, but there's artists there. So remember to look for synonyms as well. When you're scanning, it's important to not just look for the words, those exact words that are in the question and the answer options, but also to look at similar phrases or words that have the same meaning, like synonyms. So if you look for synonyms, you'll find this word beasts. Beasts means the same thing as animals. So they're synonyms. We've got pictures here, but we weren't able to find pictures. But what we can find is paintings. In the passage, we can find paintings, which is essentially the same thing in this context. And special techniques. We couldn't find this either. We also have to look for paraphrases. Paraphrases essentially means different ways of saying the same thing. So look for different or the same thing, like the same idea, but it's presented or expressed in a different way. So here we have words like brushed, smeared, blown, sprayed. All of these words in this context, when we talk about methods of applying color, could be special techniques for painting walls, right? They could be considered to be special techniques. So we've found all our keywords. Now, step 4, read around those. So these are the keywords we found, and the corresponding keyword all the paraphrases or synonyms in would be from you'll be able to see which passage the question is based on if you can locate the keywords paragraph. So this is the paragraph that we should be reading because that's where we found all our keywords. Can you see most of them apart from the one artist down here? And you could choose to read both paragraphs, which is still a good idea, but you might just find the answer after reading the first paragraph. You can choose to read the next one if you feel like you're still not sure of the answer. Okay, so let's read this paragraph together, and then we'll look at step 5. So in the southwest of France in the 1940s, playing children discovered Lascaux Grotto, a series of narrow caves that contain huge prehistoric paintings of animals, many almost 5 meters. Some follow each other in solemn parades, but others swirl about sideways and upside down. The animals are bulls, wild horses, reindeer, bison, and mammoths, outlined with charcoal and painted mostly in reds, yellow, and browns. Scientific analysis reveals that the colors were derived from ochre and other iron oxides ground into a fine powder. Methods of applying color varied. Some colors were brushed or smeared on rock surfaces, and others were blown or sprayed. It is possible that tubes made from animal bones were used for spraying, because hollow bones, some stained with pigment, have been found nearby. Okay, so I get what this paragraph is saying, but what's our answer? To be able to find our answer, we need to eliminate incorrect answer options. Now that we've read the paragraph, we have a good idea of what it means. So let's look at the question again. What are the bones found in the Lascaux caves believed to indicate? So the first option is wild animals sometimes lived in the cave chambers. Does the does the paragraph actually say that? Do they say wild animals lived there? Let me know in the chat box. Do you think this is the correct option? The first one? No, right. Because they said that the paintings of animals were found in these caves. We don't know if animals actually lived in those caves. So you're right, the first one is not the correct answer. How about the second one? Artists painted pictures on both walls and bones. Let me know in the chat box. Do you think this could be the correct answer? Okay. Some of you said yes. Well, not really, because it doesn't say that they painted on the bones. It says that they painted on rock surfaces over here, rock surfaces. It said they painted on walls, but it doesn't say that they painted on bones. It says that they used bones paint, but they actually painted bones. So that's also not the correct answer. Again, this is not mentioned anywhere in that paragraph. They've just said that they used bones, and they made a fine powder of iron oxide, which is again not a kind of bone. So that's not the correct answer. So we're only left with one answer option, and that's this one. Artists developed special techniques for painting the walls. So you remember how we looked at all these different words? So the answer is in this line right here. Methods of applying color varied. Some colors were brushed or smeared. Where's that? On rock surfaces, and others were blown or sprayed. So those were the different words that they used to indicate that those were special techniques that the cave dwellers used. So that's a correct answer. So essentially, you just have to read the passage, read the question and answer options, understand both what the question is asking you and understand the passage that the question is based on, and then choose the correct answer. So are you ready to try one yourself? I feel like we'll feel more confident once we've done one with the timer. So I'm going to give you 90 seconds for this one. I'll disappear for 90 seconds, but because I don't want to distract you, but I'll be back in 90 seconds and we'll look at the answers together. Okay? Your time starts now. All right, time's up. Hopefully you guys had enough time to choose an answer. So let me know in the chat box, which option do you think is correct? A, B, C, or D? Okay. Well done, Iris. You got it right. It is option D, having too much stress in one's life. Where is it? It's down here. Yeah, perhaps brought on by unrelated stresses in his life. So well done. Now, if you want to improve your scanning skills, because scanning is obviously very important for this question type, you have to be mindful of other words that you need to look for. So don't just scan for keywords, but scan for synonyms, scan for phrases that have the same meaning. So what you need to remember is that you need to focus on the meaning of keywords, not the words themselves. So let's try doing this little activity to improve our scanning skills. So I'm going to show you a picture. So the picture on the left here, and there's going to be a passage on the right. And I'm going to ask you to find words that depict the idea of this picture. So like words that sort of explain this picture. So there are two words in every passage that correspond to this image. And I'm going to give you 10 seconds to find them, okay? So your time starts now. All right, time's up. Were you able to find those two words? Okay, I'll give you an example. So the first one is leisure. So when you're relaxing, you don't have, you're not stressed when you're not working, you're at leisure. Sort of be used for this image. What does this image make you think of? All right, well done. Travel. The other word is travel. So leisure and travel. So you see when so it's not necessarily the same thing or the same word, but when you have an idea, you can look for words that have similar meanings. Let's do another one. So here's a picture for you on the left. Try and find the corresponding two words in the passage on the right. Again, you have 10 seconds. Go. All right, could you find it? Well done, Mohammed. You've got one. What's the other one? Did anybody get the other one? Ooh, that could be another one, Mohammed. Yeah. So Mohammed says travel. Yes, that could be one. But there's yet another one. So we looked at travel in the previous one. So I chose two different ones for this task. Okay, so the other one was plane. So an airplane or a plane is the same as a flight. Well, not exactly. So when you say I have a flight, it's more about the journey, right? Like the air travel, that journey in the airplane. But when you say airplane, you're actually talking about the physical plane itself. So that's what I mean when I say don't just think about the word, don't just think about plane, think about air travel, think about, so that was a good one, Mohammed. Travel, air travel, flight, airplane. All right, last one. Okay, this is a what does this mean? Which two words? Again, I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Go. Okay, were you able to find it? So you've got one bit of it, Mohammed. You need something before that. So something that happens every year. So what this means is something like one date in every calendar. So something that happens every year. Now can you guys find, oh, well done, Mohammed. You got the second one as well. Come on, guys, you need some competition. Any guesses? No? All right. So per year, so you're right, Mohammed, you got the year bit, but something that happens every year, you could probably say per year and annual. So per year, annual, same thing. Every year, something that happens every year. Okay, so now that we know how to scan, let's try more questions, but before we try more questions, let's quickly review the method first. So step one was to read the question and answer options. Step two was to identify keywords. Step three, scan the passage for the keywords. Step four, read around the keywords. And finally, step five is to eliminate incorrect answer options. Okay, ready? I'm going to show you another question and I'm going to give you 90 seconds. I'll disappear for 90 seconds, but I'll be back and we'll discuss the answers together. Go. All right, time's up. Some of you have got the right answer, but we have a few B's in the mix as well. So let's see what the correct answer is. So the correct answer was A, change their shape. Okay, so I'll explain to you why A is the correct answer, and then you can tell me why you thought B was. So it's A, change their shape, because it says right here, to function, the first line of the second paragraph, to function, proteins change their shape. And the question is just a paraphrase. So here we have, in the passage, we have the word to function, but in the question we have, in order to perform their responsibilities. So function means the same thing as perform responsibilities. So the question was, according to the passage, what must proteins do in order to perform their responsibilities? So they have to change their shape to function. To function, to perform their responsibilities, they have to change their shape. So a lot of you got B, transport materials and information between cells and their environment. Oh, okay. I get it. You thought what are their responsibilities? Did you think the question was more about what their responsibilities are? Like what must proteins do? Just what must proteins do? Because I think it was somewhere in the first paragraph. Yeah, so they are responsible for nearly all tasks in cellular life, including waste cleanup and routine. Okay, I get it. Yeah. So that's actually a trap that people who write these questions usually set for you. So there'll always be one answer that seems like when it's read, because you read probabilities of the letters, it's so important to think in terms of meaning and not in terms of words. Because if you think perform their responsibilities is the same as being responsible for, it's not quite the same. It means to be able to function. In order for them to be able to function, and another way of saying that is to function. So here when we say to function, the longer version of it is in order for them to be able to function. Does that make sense? So this is what they do normally. This is their responsibility. Like B is what proteins do, and it's part of, you could say, their responsibilities. But what do they have to do for them to be able to perform those responsibilities? They have to change shape, and that answer is right here. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat box if it's still unclear. Okay. Thank you. How about Iris? Iris, is it clear now? Just type yes in the chat box if it's clear. And no if it's not. Okay, I'm getting a lot of yeses from other students as well. So I'll move on and I'll come back to it if we still are not clear on that. All right, let's do another one. Okay. Seconds, and then we'll discuss the answers together. All right, time's up. I'll just give you guys another couple of seconds to put in your answers. Okay. Okay, this is good. Most of you got this one right. It is B. They feel there are issues with the quality of the food. So that's good. Well done. Anybody who didn't get it? I feel like everybody who wrote their answers and got this right. So let's move on. Let's do one final one together. And then we'll move on. Okay, time is up. Okay. It can be measured with because here it says in the first paragraph, curiosity traits and personality tests may be one of the ways to tease out those traits in prospective employees. Oh, okay. So someone just said that the sound is not good. Oops, sorry about that. Can you hear me better now? Can you guys hear me clearly? Okay, that's better now. All right, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, so it was D, the other line that says it is this first line of the second paragraph. People who showed strong curiosity traits on personality tests perform better on creative tasks. I'd ask you why you chose the other options, but I'll just go through each answer option and tell you why it's not right. So it increases diversity in the workplace. It does not really say that. It says that as workplaces are evolving and becoming more diverse, that's not to say that it is an effect of hiring people who are curious. It is correlated with intelligence. That means it is related to intelligence in some way. It does not say that anywhere in the passage. And it is linked with career success. I don't think well on those curiosity tests are better at dealing with unfamiliar topics and learning something new, according to the research that they conducted. So that's not the same as being successful or having a successful career. So the only thing we know for sure, so remember that this is a factual information something that's explicitly stated in the text. And over here, it is explicitly society test because it says people who. Does that make sense? I know that the last paragraph sort of implies it. So it says that they contribute to the success of the organization. Just because they're good at their jobs doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be, successful career-wise. So you could say that it's an inference that you can draw, but since this is not exactly an inference question, and because D, the answer option D is outrightly stated, that's it. Like that's your job done. Don't think too much about it. When you have an answer right there, don't think about what could be or what you can infer from what's in the passage, because there's something that's directly stated explicitly in the passage. Does that make sense? Okay, that's good. Let's keep going. Okay, so we have factual questions, factual information questions, which we just saw, and then we have negative factual information questions. I know it's a really long name for a question type, but it's pretty similar to the factual information question. So basically, you just look for facts or you look for contradiction. So let's see what they look like. So a negative factual information. You've got the passage on the right, question and answer on the left. The question will usually have words like except or not, and they'll always be in capitals. So they'll be like did everything but not, and then both of these words will be in all caps. All right, and we have 4 answer options as always. Like I said, this is very similar to the factual information question, but this is where it's different. So in factual information questions, 3 answer options are incorrect according to the information that's in the paragraph or the passage, right? In the negative factual information questions, 3 answer options are actually correct according to the text. The correct answer here is the one that's missing like elements from the text or it contradicts the text. So either it's not mentioned at all or it says something that is the opposite of what the text says. And that's the one that's the correct answer. So if you feel a little confused, if you feel like this baby right here, don't worry. We'll look at the method and then we'll look at a question and then it'll be clearer, hopefully. All right, let's look at the method now. Step 1, you read the question and answer options. Let's do that. All of the following are mentioned in paragraph 7 as contributing to the longevity of an oak tree, except the capacity to create shade, leaves containing tannin, the ability to withstand mild droughts and fire, the large number of acorns the tree produces. That's it. Step 1 done. Let's look at step 2, identify keywords. The same as for factual information. So we have longevity. Does anybody know what longevity means? Let me know in the chat. Longevity means lifespan, so like a longer lifespan of the oak tree. So what contributes to the long lifespan of an oak tree? So it lives longer. So if you read the passage, it'll be more obvious from the context rather than just by reading the question. So we've got oak tree, of course, it's a question about the oak tree. So that's one of our keywords. We've got shade for the first answer option, tannin for the second, drought and fire for the third, acorns for the fourth. So all of these answer options, just one word, more or less, answer option. Step 3, same as factual information, you need to scan the passage, but this time we need to confirm the facts. So you have to pay special attention to the meaning and check that with the answer options. Right, and also we have to focus on sentences containing those keywords, right? So here, instead of longevity, it says long-lived. That's a synonym for longevity. We have oak tree, shade, tannins, you tannin twice, longevity, acorns, drought, and fire. Now it's time to read for meaning. So once we read the passage, then we'll be able to eliminate answer options that are correct according to the passage. So we just have to find the one so the correct answer option is the one that is missing, that is not mentioned in the passage at all, or that contradicts. That means it says something that's opposite to what's in the passage. Okay, so looking at right. Oops. So what do you think? What's the correct answer option here? Let's just say the first one, second one, third one, or fourth one. Let's read this passage here. This is where our keywords are. Let's read it. Is the capacity to create shade? Does that help it live longer? Not really. It says that it has competes all other would-be canopy trees. Leaves containing tannin. The tannins are part of a defense mechanism. So again, all of this is contributing to its longevity. So it's cutting down competition. It's using tannins for defense mechanism. The ability to withstand mild droughts and fires. We have that here. Once an oak tree becomes established, it is likely to survive minor cycles of drought and even fire. So all of these are correct, right? So all of these are stated in the passage, and they also are correct according to the information in the passage. So the only one that's incorrect is the large number of acorns the tree produces. So we do have a mention of acorns right here. And this is what the sentence says. It says, although oaks produce thousands of acorns, the investment in a crop of acorns is small compared with the energy spent on building leaves, trunk, and roots. Well, yes, it mentions it. It says that it doesn't spend too much energy building those. But also, do you know what acorns are? Acorns are like those pine cone-like things. They're kind of like nuts, but I don't think humans eat them. Maybe in some parts of the world they do, I'm not sure, but I've never heard of humans eating them. Um, anyway, so the passage does mention them, but it doesn't say that it helps the tree live longer in any way. So because this answer option is this particular thing that it increases the longevity is not mentioned, and it doesn't contradict, or if it's not mentioned, then it's the correct answer. So that's the sort of catch for the negative factual questions. Okay, let's try one ourselves and see if we've understood. Just remember that the one that's contradicting or that's not mentioned is the correct answer. I'm going to give you 90 seconds again. I'm going to disappear for a bit, and I'll be back, and we can discuss the answers together. Your time starts now. Okay, time's up. Was that enough time? Okay, I'm getting some answers now. That's good. So remember, all of the following statements are true except, so the one that's false or not given. Okay, let's check our answers. It's C. New elements were found in Earth's crust. And I feel like only 2 people answered this and they got this right. So well done. Okay, let me know if you have any questions about the correct answer, but since everybody got it right, I'm just going to keep moving on. So this is the next question. Again, 90 seconds. I'll see you back in 90 seconds. All right, time's up. Um, I'm just going to give everyone a moment to put in their answers. Okay. We have a few answers come in, but the correct answer is actually D. The mummies were found in shallow graves, because it doesn't say that. So remember that we're trying to look for something that's incorrect according to the passage, or something that's just missing. So here in the passage, it said it. So the first answer option was, it was the second discovery in a month. So here it says this is the second of two discoveries made in less than a month. So that's correct according to the passage. B was, the mummies were common people, which is unusual, as commoners were not usually mummified. So that the last sentence here says that because commoners were usually buried in shallow desert graves, any human remains would have perished quickly. Um, and these were actually mummies. So they say that commoners were just buried um, in shallow graves, not in tombs. So they were not mummified. It says common Egyptians were not mummified as the royals were. So these two sentences, because of this, B cannot be the correct answer. None of you chose C, which is good. And that's also incorrect because it's actually mentioned in the paragraph. It says archaeologists also recovered two golden sheets and two papyri written in ancient Egyptian script. So papyri is like a type of paper. Ancient papers, and it had an language like the written bit of language found in shallow graves. Uh, it doesn't really say that, does it? It doesn't say that anywhere. It just says that the wells were dug up, and it says that usually they used to bury commoners in shallow desert graves, but it doesn't say that these mummies were found in shallow graves. So that's the correct answer. Okay, let's do one last one, and let's see if we've gotten a hang of this. All right. Good. check our answers. That they use right here, so definitely not water brushes. Well done. We're going a little bit over time, so let's quickly go through the sentence simplification questions. Again, this is what it looks like. You've got the passage on the right, question and answer options on the left. So the question will always say the same thing. The question will always say which of the sentences below best expresses the essential information in the highlighted sentence in the passage. Incorrect choices change the meaning in important ways or leave out essential information. This is always what the question will say. When you see this question, you know it's a sentence simplification type of question. And the sentence will always be highlighted for you, so you don't have to find it. So the question essentially asks you which answer option is the best paraphrase or the best summary, in a way, of this particular sentence. And it's usually a long sentence. So let's quickly take a look at the method. We have step 1, which is to read the question prompt, which we already did. So that's good. It'll always be the same. So now we know it's a sentence simplification question. So step 2, we go directly to the highlighted sentence and read that. So this one says, large wind farms might also interfere with the flight patterns of migratory birds in certain areas, and they have killed large birds of prey, especially hawks, falcons, and eagles, that prefer to hunt along the same ridge lines that are ideal for wind turbines. So think about what it means. Think about the meaning of this sentence. And step 3 is to paraphrase it. So think about how you would paraphrase it. Think how you explain your friend doesn't speak English as well, so that you know that you understood what that sentence means. So this is my phrase. So large wind farms conveniently built ridge lines are known as bird prey and might disrupt migratory birds' flight patterns in particular areas. That was my paraphrase. Step 4 is to eliminate answer options. Don't reflect the meaning. So once you have the meaning, it's still enough to just say, oh, this matches or this doesn't match. Let's look at the first answer option. Here it's oops, sorry. So that's not large, oops. I think I'll have to share my screen again. Sorry about that. I think the internet's, the connection's not strong. Anyway, sorry. So here it says large numbers of migratory birds, but in the large birds of prey, it doesn't really say large numbers. Then the next, so that's definitely not the correct answer. The next one says occasionally causes migratory birds to change their paths. It doesn't say anything like that over here. So it might also interfere. That's what it says here. That's not the same. That doesn't mean the same thing. And it also says that occasionally causes migratory birds to change their flight patterns and therefore may interfere with the areas where birds of prey hunt. That's not right. So they're just making a cause and effect relationship that's actually not part of the sentence. Therefore, occasionally, and other words like that. So that's, again, not the correct answer. So some of the best locations for large wind farms are places that may cause problems for migrating birds and birds of prey. So here we have best locations, which is a paraphrase for maybe ideal this could be the correct answer, but let's look at the final option before we decide. So here we have large wind farms in certain areas kill hawks, falcons, and eagles and light of migratory birds. I don't think that's what it says. Here it says that because large farms are usually built along the lines where large birds prefer to hunt, um, and they also interfere with the flight patterns. So it's not that one thing. It's not that because there'll be no birds of prey, migratory birds will choose that path. So again, it's changing the cause and effect relationship. So remember that the correct answer will not change the cause and effect relationship. So this one did. So this one's not the correct answer. It is indeed option number 3, which is correct, because that does not contradict any information. It doesn't leave out any important information. And it does not change the meaning. Again, okay, time's up. Let's see. Okay. Well done. You guys got it right. It is A, because again, it doesn't contradict or leave out any important information. So well done. That's great. Here's another one. So just make sure you concentrate on the meaning, and you're doing great already. So I'll see you in 90 seconds. Go. Okay, I already have answers from you guys. So let's go ahead and, oops, sorry. So let's go ahead and check our answers. Most of you got it right. We just have one incorrect choice, but that's okay. So you're right, it is B. Because again, yeah, I think that was the only plausible answer, and most of you got it right. So that's the only that changes the meaning of the highlighted sentence. So well done to you guys. I think great. Iris got most of them right as well. So well done to you both. So if you want to practice, sorry about going a little bit over time. So that's our class for today. And if you feel like you need more practice, you can always go to e2language.com and you'll have access to all of our course materials. You can also submit your writing and speaking for feedback. You recordings of classes in the recording section. Here's a software that you can use. They're all free, and they'll help you improve your reading, writing, listening, speaking skills. So make sure you try these out. And if you have any questions or about the platform content or any tech issues that you'd like to report, just go to help.et2language.com and we'll help you out there. So that's all for today. But if you have any questions, just put them in the chat box. I'll just hang around for a couple of minutes to answer your questions. But if you're in a rush, you're free to go because that's it for today. Oh, thank you, Mohammed. Thanks for being so active in class. It's great when students actually answer questions, so even I know if the questions are doing well. Okay. Thank you, Iris. All right. So I'm guessing there's no more questions. Thank you guys for joining us, and I'll see you in the next class in a couple of days, and that'll be our writing class. So keep practicing and good luck for your test. Bye.